The title of this speech is Pyramids, Nuns, and Roses. It is a 5 to 7 minute speech.
8 to 10, sorry.
Yes, exactly what I said. This is a speech Bob gave a few years ago. Says he screwed up, so he rewrote it. Pyramids, Nuns, and Roses, Bob Ransom.
Some of you may be wondering, what could pyramids, nuns, and roses possibly have in common? I will tell you, absolutely nothing. Except in 1978, having never met a nun, I had two unlikely chance encounters with two different Catholic nuns, both involving, which to me were extraordinary coincidences, and one involving pyramids and the other involving roses. Taken together, these two experiences caused me to question the very nature of reality. As background, 2 years prior to these chance encounters, I was obsessed with the Great Pyramid in Egypt. I had come to the realization or the belief that of the 10 things that magnificent building could be, a tomb, which is what we were told it is not on the list. It has to be something greater. Well, this was on my mind one day when I walked into the courthouse to go to work, and I ran into an old friend who was a Catholic. And out of the blue, unrelated to anything, he said to me, "Bob, I know you're the farthest thing from a Catholic that could possibly be, but I really think you should visit Mother Cabrini Shrine." Well, visiting a Catholic monastery was not on my list of things to do. But about a week later, I woke up early. I did not have to be in court until 10. I thought, okay, I'll go up and check out Mother Cabrini Shrine. I drove 15 minutes up into the foothills west of Denver, drove onto the grounds, past a dormitory, which was attached to some kind of building. I didn't really notice it. And I drove down about 100 yards, parked the car, and looked up at a huge statue of Jesus on top of the hill. And I thought, okay, I'm going to hike up there. Still thinking about pyramids. I started up the 365 steps, got more than halfway up, paused to catch my breath, and looked down at the buildings below, and the church was a pyramid. And not just any pyramid, but it appeared to be a model on the Great Pyramid of Egypt. I don't know if you can see it, but the angles appeared to be 52 degrees. The four sides appeared to be facing perfectly the 4 points, the cardinal points on the compass. And I exclaimed out loud, it looked like the Great Pyramid. And then I heard a voice. You noticed. I looked around. There on the ground, about 20 feet away, on her hands and knees, hoeing in some roses, pulling a rose garden, pulling weeds, was a little nun. She stood up, smiled at me with twinkling eyes, and I said again, that is a pyramid, and it looks like it's modeled on the Great Pyramid in Egypt. She said, it is. I designed it. It turns out she had an engineering and architectural degrees from the University of Chicago. We talked for well over an hour, and she agreed with me that the Great Pyramid in Egypt was most likely an ancient power plant built somewhere between 12 and 100,000 years ago. I was stunned at meeting her, but I had to go to work, and I started to say goodbye, and she said, "Robert, be sure to visit the water fountain down below and drink the holy water." And I thought to myself, well, the only holy water I want to drink is in Coors beer. And I went to work, but it happened again. About a week later, I woke up early, did not have to be in court until 10, so I drove back to Mother Cabrini Shrine. I parked my car down by the water fountain, got out, took my briefcase, sat on a bench, pulled out a little green pamphlet. Oh, by the way, I did drink some of the water. I mean, you never know. And I started reading my pamphlet, which I got once a month from an organization called the Rosicrucians, an ancient mystical fraternity, sort of a cousin to the Masons. This particular pamphlet was all about roses. The spiritual quality, the sacred quality, the mystical quality, roses in meditation, aromatherapy, etc., etc. I'm reading about the rose. A car pulled up. I was not alone anymore. A lady got out dressed in street clothes. I immediately put my pamphlet in my briefcase. There is no way that this lady knew that I even had a pamphlet, much less than I was reading about roses. She got some water, sat down opposite me about 20 feet away. We struck up a conversation, just small talk. All of a sudden, in the middle of a sentence, she stopped, looked at me, and said, I don't know why, but I have to give you something. She got up, went back to her car, rummaged around in the car, and came back holding something. She stood right in front of me and said, in 1947, in Flushing Meadows, New York, at a gathering of Catholics outside in a park, all of the Catholics claimed they saw an apparition. They claimed it to be an apparition of Mary, the mother of Jesus. And she told me this apparition, Mary, the mother of Jesus, blessed all of the roses in the rose garden. And she handed me, encased in plastic, this rose petal, which I taped in my journal. I was stunned at the fact that she gave me a rose petal, having no idea that I was reading about roses. I was excited. I ran up to the convent, up through the parking lot. I needed to find Mother Camille. I found her. I blurted out, "Mother Camille, you won't believe it. I was reading about roses, and a nun came by, and she was headed to San Francisco to a new assignment, and she gave me this rose petal and said it was a sacred object." And I said, "Mother Camille, is this just a coincidence, or could it be some kind of miracle?" She looked at me and laughed. "Robert, of course it was a miracle. But Robert, you big dummy, everything in life is a miracle. There are no coincidences." Oh. Well, to this day, I do not know if what she said about miracles and coincidences is true or not. I like to think it is. But there's what I do know. Mother Camille became a dear friend for over 15 years. She was the main source of comfort after my children left, after a divorce. I also came to believe, based on these two stunning coincidences and chance encounters, that there just may be more to life and to reality than we know. And it just may be true that there is an unseen intelligent force connecting everything and everybody, including pyramids, nuns, and roses. Thank you.